Testing, testing. Hey, Johnny, you hear me? Jump. John, you got us?
What are you sleeping in there?
Red Roll here on a Saturday morning. Thanks to our friends at Insperity. Visit Insperity.com for powerful HR solution with exceptional follow through. We have a great weekend ahead at the Chevron Championship here at the Nicholas Course at the club at Carlton Woods. Tickets are available on SeatGeek, $40. You can still get some weekend passes. Kids, juniors, 17 and under, free all weekend. And we'll have the executive director, Glenn Weckerlin, on it. 8:15. Talk more about the tournament. But Charlie, great couple days out here so far.
So far, so good. Now, why is this called the Nicholas Course?
Well, because your good friend, the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, designed it.
Isn't it incredible? Great piece of property, and he designed one heck of a championship golf course. And this is a major.
It is. You have two courses out here at the clubs at Carlton Woods. You got the Fazio course, which hosts a great junior tournament every year. The CB&I, your Charlie Wiley played in that. And then this was restored about a year and a half ago to get it ready for the first major of the LPGA season. Charlie, this tournament moved from Mission Hills, the Dinah Shores. I think there was a lot of people that wanted it to stay there in California. This has just been a great move, though, largely because of this golf course.
Well, largely because of the sponsor. Now, this is a big time tournament with a big time payday for the ladies.
Yeah.
So they had to move it to a city. And I love Palm Springs. I love Mission Hills. It was a great event, but sometimes progress gets in the way.
Yeah.
And this is really a first-class event.
And when you have a partner like Chevron that, can not only, like you said, the winner of this tournament is going to make over $1 million this week. Not only that, what they're doing for charity in the area, over $40 million going to teachers in the Woodlands area, help support the teachers in the schools in the area. Chevron, they're equipped to do all those great things for the community.
It's once again, golf strikes in a big way. Golf raises so much money every year for the needy, for great projects, and I'm so proud to be a golf professional, helping out, get the kids out here, get the kids to play golf, get them to learn rules, get them to learn to play by the rules, and this is just a monumental effort in the Woodlands community. Not only do we have a championship major for the ladies, but
the legends, they'll be here next week, Charlie, and some of them were already here. Annika Sorenstam, Julie Inkster, they were all at the Champions Dinner that the Chevron puts on for the winner every year. Chef Thomas Keller prepared a Czech dinner for past champion Nelly Korda. But that's a great question. I asked Glenn Weckerlin, I said if there's any access we could get to that Champions Dinner to cover it, but he said I would just have to ask Nelly about it, in the press conference the next day. No media allowed in the Champions Dinner. They don't allow media in the Masters Champions Dinner, do they, Charlie? Do they allow any riders in there?
No.
Dan Jenkins.
This isn't the Masters. This is growing. This is
yeah.
To get the community growing. I'm going to suggest that they partner with us, and we'll promote the event every week.
Yeah.
To get people aware of what this sporting event's all about.
No, and you're exactly right. I mean that's what needs to build here. They have to get the city of Houston involved. Greater Houston, they know about the Houston Open at Memorial Park. It is a public golf course that they can go play for under $35. And what Jim Crane has done with the PGA Tour event in Houston has just been sensational. Similar things could be done at this tournament to do the same. I will say with the LPGA Tour, it falls a lot, of course, on the stars, and they have to show up as far as the golf is concerned. I feel like world number one Nelly Korda making the weekend, shooting a 4 under 68 after starting 77 the first day. That is massive for the spark that this tournament can create in Houston over the weekend.
Well, it shows you what kind of a game golf is. It's a game of recovery, and best in the world. And she won this event for her victory last year,
Correct.
and she wasn't going to be denied. She
Yeah.
put her pedal to the metal and shot one heck of a great round yesterday to sneak into the tournament, you might say, and watch out this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of great names on top of this leaderboard. First off, Yan Lu of China is leading at 7 under par. Charlie, I got a bite for you here on Yan Lu. She eagled the par 5 eighth hole yesterday in the second round. I'm sorry, Yan Lu made an albatross
Albatross.
on the albatross 2 on the par 5 eighth here at the Nicholas course.
How far was her second shot?
170 yards.
170
She hit a
yard
7
shot,
iron
7 iron into the hole on a par 5.
on a par 5. Now, I didn't know this, but that's only the third albatross ever made in major championship history in both the men and women's side of the game.
How about that? What is that?
Your friend Gene Saracen
Yes.
in 1935 at the Masters,
Right?
and then Karen Stupples
Karen.
at the 2004 Open. Now Karen's on Golf Channel, and she announced that shot that Yan Lu hit yesterday, the albatross on the 8th.
That's exciting.
So that's your leader this weekend. And others contending. You have two great Americans in a tie for second place, Lindy Duncan and Sarah Schmelzel. We'll hear some audio from them later on. Lindy shot a 66 yesterday to get it to 6 under. Sarah shot 68. They were playing together. I asked them after the round, does it help to have, when your partner is going low as well? Lindy said yes. Sarah said she's in her own little bubble. I felt like it certainly helped their momentum through the round.
You get caught up in the momentum, and that happens a lot. I know in my brief experience playing tournament golf, if I had a good group, we just kind of like sailing. You just get going and you don't stop.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But the one thing,
Charlie, you have plenty of experience, by the way, in tournament golf. Six-time major championship participant. And speaking of tournament golf, the Zurich 2 balls this weekend. You and your friend Blaine McAllister finished second there many years ago.
Yes, that was quite fun. We got on television, but one thing we want to tell the listening public about golf is it's such a great game for not only girls and boys, it's also a good game for families. And to get together and get out and play golf or go to the driving range, and it's a great society. So hopefully you can come out here and you can get involved in the great play of these young ladies, and that will motivate you to go to the driving range and become a golfer.
That's right. Once again, families, kids 17 and under, junior golfers get in free out here. Charlie, they're doing clinics. The players are doing clinics on the range. The LPGA players and really the PGA Tour players, for that matter, right now, they're all very friendly. They're signing autographs for the kids after the rounds. When families come out here and they're watching golf, there's plenty of great groups out there on the course today. What do you recommend they look at, whether it's driving, whether it's short game around the greens? What would you focus on for them to better their game?
Well, just watch the individual and pick out somebody to follow through 3 holes, and you'll see every activity in what it takes to play a golf hole, from driving the golf ball, the second shot, third shot, putting, so on and so forth. You'll start getting a feel. You'll be able to turn it on television and understand it a little more. But one of the things that I'm really proud of, being a PGA golf professional, we have an association called the PGA of America. We have the Southern Texas PGA here in South Texas, that we have over 900 members promoting the game, but teaching the game. So get involved with a PGA golf professional, whether it's a male or a female, and join the Southern Texas PGA Junior Program. My foundation is giving out 14 scholarships this year for kids, not only the kids that participate in the Southern Texas PGA Junior Program, but also that are going to be good students. So it's a great game, and I can't talk enough about it.
No, and what you have done, Charlie, for golf in this city, not only the community, but for juniors and the next generation is simply inspirational. Now, moving down, this leaderboard, we talked about Jan Liu is in the lead at 7 under. Lindy Duncan and Sarah Schmelzel in a tie for second. Once again, I think the most important headline yesterday afternoon was Nelly Korda rallying to make the cut. She's world number one. She's the defending champion. She is the one children, they want to see when they come out here this week. And of course, there's plenty of other sensational talent. You have Lexi Thompson, the legend, in a tie for 10th at 4 under par. But we talked to Korda before the Chevron. Here's what she had to say about the course and other topics. When you come to a course like this where you've already had success, when you go out there this afternoon or tomorrow, are there things that you and your caddy can kind of breeze over, or do you still go about it the same way?
Every year that I've played a golf course, no matter how many times I've played, I feel like it just plays so different with just maybe the winter that they've had and the way the golf course is playing with the weather. Maybe, as I said, I've heard that they've gotten a good bit of rain before. So I don't think I've ever played a golf course where it's played the same the year prior to the year we're at. So going around, seeing how how the greens are rolling, seeing if they've changed a couple of tees. Sometimes that's what they like to throw in. They like to make the golf course longer, or they like to make it a little bit more interesting. So trying to definitely just plot our way around and seeing, what our game plan for the week is going to be. It's just going to be the same like it is every week, even if it was a new golf course.
4 in a row coming in here last year, still playing incredibly solid at the moment, still number one.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things in your game this week compared to the last 4 or 5 events that need to click for you to defend your championship?
Yeah, I think I saw some improvements in my game last week with my irons. Definitely felt a little bit more comfortable with that. And then just need my putter to kind of click a little bit more to make those putts. I think that's kind of where it's been lacking is the putts that I was making last year. I'm just not making as many this year, but I think that's just golf. I've gone through waves like this before. And if I just continue working at it, hopefully it does click.
Ellie, you're going to be playing with the ANWA winner, Carla Escudero, in one of the Pro-Ams. I'm just wondering, in your opinion, how pivotal is it? You got some opportunities in majors as an amateur. How pivotal is it for the majors to continue to give those opportunities?
Yeah, getting that experience under your belt, walking onto the range and seeing all the best players in the world. Like as a 14-year-old when I qualified for my first U.S. Open, that was kind of the first thing that I noticed was obviously you're very intimidated. And I feel like the more I played out here, the more comfortable I got. So I think for them to get that experience under their belt and, show off their great game and be a little bit more comfortable for them is a great experience.
That was world number one, Nelly Korda. She starts the weekend 8 back of Jan Liu, who's at 7 under, heading into Saturday here at the Chevron Championship at the Nicholas Course at Carlton Woods. Come join us. Tickets are available on SeatGeek and juniors 17 and under get in free all weekend. On the other side, Chevron Championship Executive Director Glenn Weckerlin joins the show. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour presented by Insperity. Back after this. Yes. She was talking about playing with Carla and Pro-Am.
I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, that was genius.
Carla said, "Oh my gosh, Nelly." And I said, "No, I got this."
Yeah.
I had to get an exemption, especially.
Really?
Yeah, because they didn't want to. They were concerned that she was in the field, but she wasn't supposed to play in the Pro-Am. So I had to go get a special kind of LPGA exemption to let her play as an amateur in the Pro-Am. I think it worked.
Wow.
A little bit too much tape.
A lot of hoops to jump through.
That's great.
Yeah, Nelly told me about 3 weeks ago that she played twice as a junior in what was formerly the Chevron Championship A&A.
Right.
So she had the experience and she
Yeah.
got in. I don't know.
Yeah, she talked about that. And she said how pivotal it is when she qualified for the U.S. Open at 14. That experience is just they accelerate the process as far as learning how to play professional golf.
That's great. Golf is a hot game right now. They got to capitalize on it.
I hope so.
How many more sponsors do you have this year that you didn't have last year?
Well, that's a good question. I probably got 12, 15 more this year than we had last year. Just in the pro-am alone, we had 10 open spots last year. We were oversold and added to this year. So that's that we went. So we added 10 plus the 4. So we're, there's 15 right there. So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's great to see now like the weekend.
Sitting on dinner in there last night. And then I sent a note to her dad right away after she won. I said, "Hey, you guys need a drink." Come up with a thing, so they ran in there and they grabbed a drink before they left. He said, "Well, Nellie's." I had said, "Come and eat dinner with us." We had filet in there last night. I said, "Oh, she wants to go, but I'll have a drink." So while she was waiting for her to come up, he went in with mom and the boys, all the rest of the team, and he had a quick cocktail. Put it in. But that was a little bit of a close one.
Yeah. Good to have her around at the weekend. And Lexi Thompson, that's
Lexi, what a day!
yeah.
But and Lydia's a good friend. We play. She comes up to now that she's living half in San Francisco. With her husband out there. She comes up to where I live and plays. Yeah, exactly. I live on 80.
We got 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
I played in that in 1969.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the Golf Doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
We're lucky to have Glenn Weckerlin joining the show. He's the executive director at the Chevron Championship, the first LPGA major of the year, where we're live from. Glenn, great job so far this week. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I wish I could take all the credit for it, but it is really, truly one of those big team things. Getting ready for the event, and then, we got a little cooperation by the weather today.
How long have you been involved with this championship?
Since we put the deal together back 4 years ago. So we have third year here, and then we finished up 1 year in Rancho Mirage.
Uh-huh.
I actually tried to retire.
From what?
4 years ago from Chevron for 40 years.
Oh,
and then
congratulations.
And then they said, well, but who's going to kind of look after some of the sports stuff and our community things? And I said, well, maybe we can work something out. So I came back a day later and then put this deal together with the team, and we're off and running. And we knew we were going to move it here all the time. So we did 1 year in Rancho Mirage and then moved it over.
That's great.
But you always had the Nicholas course in mind. That was set in stone.
Always had that. Well, we did a pretty extensive look around Houston for the course. It's a complicated process to figure out how to course, because it's not just the course. You've got to figure out parking and infrastructure, and how are you getting it back and forth, and what are you going to do with hospitality, and how can you build extra things on top of the clubhouse. It's a process that was fun to go through. Don't really want to do it again. And so we're looking to stay here another 50 years like they did in Rancho Mirage.
Yeah.
And it's as the first major and the one that doesn't move, I like that. It's different than the other majors who have to go do that every year and find a course and do the whole build.
This is going to be like the Masters.
We think about it that way.
That's it.
I'll be true confessions. I spent a lot of time looking at what they do every year, and borrow things. I mean, right down to some napkins that I saw this year.
Uh-huh.
And they had a napkin with a green robe on it, and we turned around and I made a phone call, and we have napkins with the robe on it this year in the hospitality suite. So we've got our robe for post lawn jump.
It's really the little things that make a tournament like this, isn't it?
It grows. It does.
And you've picked a great community here, Glenn, that the Chevron Championship has really been able to help out. And y'all's contributions to charity in the community, to the teachers, to the schools in the area, it's inspirational.
No, thank you. Well, one of the pillars that we had when we came in is we said we want national TV, or we need network TV.
Sure.
So to give more exposure. So that was part of the deal. That drove the date to some extent when we originally did the deal because we had to have the NBC stuff. Sorry for the plug on NBC there, but
No,
Good.
excellent.
Good. No,
Just like this radio
we're
show,
promoting
we go
all the
to
coverage.
hundreds cities all over the state in the local community, and we promote golf.
Yeah.
And now we can promote your championship because this is really here to stay.
yeah, it is. And so we did that, but charity was another one of the pillars. So we said we need to make sure that we raise enough money to run the event and to give back. And so, over the first 3 years, we've given back about 8.6 million, and we expect to go over 12 by the end of this tournament, which will put us at about divide by 4. There's your 3 a year. And our ticket sales, you talked about ticket sales. Every ticket then is going to $5 of that ticket is going to go right back into the very, very local, into the schools here in the Woodlands through a program we called Fuel Your School with DonorsChoose.org as our partner in that. So we're trying to, like you said, it's a lot of little things that add up.
And you mentioned your coverage, not only NBC, but you're streaming, all day on ESPN Plus, which has just been fantastic. You can start watching it at 8 a.m. as soon as everything kicks off. I think 10 a.m. is the official start time, and then you can watch it on ESPN Plus until it starts on network television, which is just fantastic.
Again, it's a thing that the LPGA spent behind the PGA Tour on a lot of this stuff, and we need to, we're running harder to catch up. There's an Ironman going on at the same time, so I've got running in my mind. I just saw the bicycle race go by on the way to the course today, but we're doing a little catch up. But great partners are making this work from a media standpoint, so that you can actually access and watch and get to know these players who are phenomenal players. I mean, if you ever want a great experience playing a pro-am with one of the LPGA
and they're
players.
great people.
And they're great people.
They're they've grown up in golf, and that's what I encourage. I have 2 daughters that have grown up in golf, and their kids are in golf. He's come out of junior golf, so you guys are on the right.
Well, we put a lot of focus on the junior thing. I know Nelly talked about it a little bit, but we had 8 amateurs that were in the field today, and Gianna Clemente is made the cut, and we'll see what they do. Some people don't know. You tell them how old they are, and say, what college are they attending? Well, they're not in college; they're in high school. And
how about the success of this young lady right here? How old was she when she started? She came right out of the womb and playing golf.
But speaking on your amateurs this year, Asterix Talley, she finished runner-up at the U.S. Women's Junior and the U.S. Women's Amateur. She finished second at the Augusta National Women's Amateur, and she's only 16 years old. It's a lot like what Lexi Thompson, Brooke Henderson, and of course Lydia Ko did coming out.
Yeah, and your point about Lydia is the same thing. You're absolutely right. Great stories about coming out and making it, and a lot of times it doesn't take a long time. We one of the other exemptions we give comes out of an event up where I live in Napa at the Silverado Showdown, and we had Patty Tavatonik had play there and won this major 3 or 4 years after she was playing in college there. So the leap to winning a major from junior golf is incredible. It really is.
You had a great list of amateurs. Carla Bernada Escudero, who unfortunately did not make the weekend, but still a great champion. She won at the Spirit Tournament in November and then won the Augusta National Women's Amateur. She's had an incredible 2025. It was great to see her on property this week. And, of course, Gianna Clemente's making it to the weekend. Glenn, for the listeners at home, the importance of what Nelly Korda did yesterday, 4 under 68 to make the cut, to have world number 1 on property this weekend. I mean, what does that mean for the tournament?
Yeah, it helps on a lot of different levels. I think to have her around. I think there's, we had a great story if she wasn't here because we had a whole bunch of potential first-time winners, right? There's always a good story out here. But I think the way she played yesterday, and Lexi had a great day as well yesterday.
Incredible, yes, sir.
Climbed right into things.
And she's retired.
and she's retired. We told her that she can retire all she wants as long as she plays here every
That's
year.
right.
But the Nelly story was great. I mean, I was at a dinner last night watching, as it was closing out, and we looked and looked and looked, and there she was climbing back in it. And I think that's in itself a great story. There was a guy in the golf tour that won a lot of tournaments that used to do that. He'd surprise people, and Tiger would be out, and then he's back in, and then the next thing you know, he's on the leaderboard. And I expect we'll get that out of Nelly, and same thing out of Lydia. I mean, Lydia had a better day yesterday, and so it's a nice mix, but it's not. The funny thing is you kind of talk a lot about the young kids on the tour, but there isn't anybody out there that is really, somebody that's been around for 40 years. We were with them on last Sunday. We had a Legends event out here where they played with girls golf last Sunday, and that in itself was a treat.
Really a hoot, yeah.
I mean, we had 24 people at the Champions Center. I mean, that is a huge number. There were more victories on the LPGA represented in our Champions Dinner than in the total field with 24 people.
Isn't that great?
I mean, you're talking about some legends out there that have 29, 30, 40 wins. So
that Champions Dinner, I mean, as far as the Champions Dinner for this week at the Chevron Championship, and working with Thomas Keller and all the players I talked to, between Nelly, Lexi, Stacy Lewis, who is a great former champion of this event, just loved the whole idea of this Champions Dinner.
He lost the backstory on that is Thomas and I, Chef Keller and I, better be more formal since in case he's listening. Chef Keller and I, we play golf probably 3 times a week during COVID, certainly, because we live 13 minutes apart.
Oh, really?
And so we play at Silverado.
Okay, sure.
And we were on. I can remember to this day, we were on the 17th hole one day, and I said, "Boy, we got to think about this Champions Dinner, and I don't know what to do. And boy, it'd be great if we had something that we could really point to." And he said, "Well, what about me?" And I said, "So you'd come down and do the dinner for us?" And he said, "Sure." He's a golf nut. He loves golf, and that was all it took. And then we put it together, and now every year it's our tradition, like the Masters.
Yes.
But I'd like to think that we do a pretty good job on that one, because he curates the menu by talking to the past champion, similar to what they do at the Masters.
Nelly put him up to the test this year, huh?
She did.
I heard the strawberry dumplings for dessert just turned out amazing.
That was her thing. I won't even give it a shot to try and pronounce it. She does, and it comes off of her tongue. But when I talked to her dad about it, he said, "Well, I'll be the judge of how good the chef is based on how well he makes that dumpling."
And did he get a passing
Well,
grade?
we didn't let him taste it. He wasn't at the dinner.
Oh, there you go.
But Nelly, it was something that her grandmother did. So Nelly, and so we asked Nelly the question, and she said, no, that was, and it's a strawberry dumpling with powdered sugar and sesame. I mean, it's way too far above my grilled cheese skills.
That's fun.
Well, Glenn, we're out of time for this segment. We really appreciate you stopping by to join us. This has just been a treat. Once again, fans can get tickets on SeatGeek, and all $5 of all ticket goes back to the teachers in the community.
Yeah, they don't have to check a box. It'll automatically go, we'll take care of that. So just come on out and enjoy the golf, and at the same time, you can contribute to the schools.
And junior 17 and under get in free. Glenn, thanks for joining us. This is a great week so far.
Well, thank you, guys.
And I want to spend some time with you today.
We can do that.
I got an idea.
Okay.
Right.
Deal.
You got it.
Deal. I'll be here.
We're going to take a quick break. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour with Brian Sparity. Back after this.
Good job, Glenn.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's just funny. I mean, you sit here all day long and talk about it.
That's it.
Don't tell anybody how easy this is. You won't get, nobody's going to get paid for this.
Yeah.
It's like that. I had that same problem. People say, "You look like you have a house." I have, but I still need to get paid for it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not quite at the point where I want to do a charity yet.
That's right.
Anyway.
Well, we're a weekly show and we promote the game, and we're going to promote your tournament all year long.
Yeah, that'd be great.
In Houston, wherever, okay? And we're going to start a tournament, just like it's not the like what they do at Augusta, but there should be every high school in Texas.
Like girls golf. Absolutely.
So we start.
I think that'd be awesome. I get a small sampling. We do a career day right over there. And we bring in high school girls one day. We have Peter Jacobson in there teaching them how to do media. And we bring in other speakers. We do high school girls. Today, we did college girls. We teach them how to write a resume. It's so exciting to bring them in. They're so full of energy. I mean, we actually build out that space to them balcony so they almost have their own hospitality. So
we get some scholarship money going to I started a term called the School of Evil many years ago. We're playing the scholarship for a couple of gymnasts. Wow.
Yeah, I did. Is that right? I'll try to. I guess I'll throw the headset.
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I also tried.
Give me your card.
Talk about a couple of characters.
I don't know if that helps at all. Test
Give me your card.
if you want me to throw that back up.
Oh,
then-
shit.
then-
I know. There you go.
if you want me
What are you gonna
throw
do with that?
Back up, then I can. But is it fine? My level's fine right
I can't handle it.
He's a lot. He's a
now.
bundle.
Say hi to the celebrities.
Look at here. See you,
sir. Lindy on keys to majors.
No, but that's all right. I got it.
on season.
I shouldn't have to.
Ryder Cup.
Let me know what you need.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
guys.
First, let's do Stacy Lewis on the Nicholas.
This is a great
Lewis,
idea,
Supposed to
having-
be in the first segment.
You press right up against the hole.
Sorry about that, John. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to fight that every year because tournament operations folks, and it's good because I get the final say, but tournament operations folks always say, we need to move.
We'll fly through this audio pretty quick.
Someplace else. Nobody else does that. I said, you just gave me the reason.
The Charlie Epps Golf Hour, powered by Insperity, continues.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and Charlie Epps.
We need this for sponsors.
It was great to have Ruckelman on the show, executive director here at the Chevron Championship. In case you missed that conversation, you can find it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the conclusion of the show. Yan Liu is your leader here at the Chevron Championship. She's the 7 under after rounds of 65, 72. Liu is number 11 on the LPGA Tour money list. What a round yesterday. She shot even par, but made an albatross on the par 5 8th here at the Chevron course in Carlton Woods. We're here in the Woodlands this weekend. You get your tickets on SeatGeek at $40. Kids 17 and under get in free. Lindy Duncan and Sarah Schmelzel, 2 Americans, both without an LPGA Tour win, in contention, one back of Liu heading into the weekend. Lindy Duncan is a veteran on the LPGA Tour. She's had a really solid career, just has not broken through with that first win. Sarah Schmelz, a little bit different story, a little bit younger, in her 4th year on the LPGA Tour, and since 2014, she's racked up 8 top 10s on the LPGA Tour. She finished 9th at the U.S. Women's Open last year, and qualified for Stacey Lewis's Solheim Cup team. I think you look at the top 5 on this leaderboard and wondering, who's going to have the best chance. I would have to go with Sarah Schmelzel, really just playing some very solid golf. 2 under 70 in the first round, 4 under 68 in the second round. I think Sarah has the game to make a run at this over the weekend. And, you look back at that Solheim Cup that the Americans won, and there were so many key pieces of Stacey Lewis's team that, are in the field this week. Sarah Schmelzel, Lexi Thompson is in a tie for 10th at 4 under par. She's only, 3 back heading into the weekend. It'd be amazing to see Lexi Thompson make a run, get another major championship. She's semi-retired, playing about half the events this season, so working a little bit of a mixed schedule. But nonetheless, great, to have a name like Lexi Thompson in the hunt here. Big deal for the tournament and the TV, as far as the public interest is concerned. Let's get you some audio here. Starting with Stacey Lewis. Stacey missed the cut. She is a two-time major champion. This course, especially with the rain this week, a little bit too long for Lewis. But nonetheless, a big fan of this golf course. And here was her comment on that.
I think it's a good test. One, it's long, so it's always gonna favor long hitters. And so from that aspect, you got to step up and hit some good golf shots. That's the biggest thing. Lauren, she's still playing great golf, but she kind of went on a heater after this. But I think it's a great test. I think you get the weather, you get the elements. It's Texas golf.
And Stacey, she's just the best. What an ambassador for the game of golf. She's captained multiple American teams at a very high level, the highest of levels at the Solheim Cup twice. And then she also, at the amateur level, Stacey Lewis was the captain of two American teams at the Spirit in 2019 and 2021. She has all the experience in the world at the highest levels. Unfortunately, she's not going to be around for the weekend. But going back to these leaders, there was a couple notes that Lindy Duncan and Sarah Schmelzel gave out after the round yesterday. Lindy, as I said, as aforementioned, she's a veteran, but really has not made a big splash in these major championships so far in her career. She, her best result on the LPGA Tour was second back at the LPGA of Americas in Dallas in 2018. This is unfamiliar territory for Lindy Duncan. This is a great story. A player who has been around the LPGA Tour a long time, practices with some of the best in the world there at Lake Nona in Florida, practices with Living Co. and some other big time names. Here was Lindy Duncan on the keys to the major championships.
I just think pars are good a lot of times, and just trying to, if you get out of position, try to get back in the fairway, try to give yourself a chance for par. And if you can drop some of those par saves, that momentum is huge.
So we'll see what Duncan does. Sarah Schmelzel, like I said, I think should be the favorite going into this weekend. She's number 14 on the CME rankings. Here was Schmelzel on the commendable season so far as her game is concerned.
Overall, it's been steady, I guess you would say. It's been a little frustrating because I've been in the top 10 going into the weekend and even Sunday a lot, and kind of just haven't really gotten over the hump as much as I would like to. I've hit it really well at times. I've hit it not awesome at times. So it's just been kind of, I don't know, coming out of the off season or just kind of some off season changes. It's still really like taking form over a 4-day, golf tournament. But overall, I've been really happy with my demeanor and mental game on the golf course. I think that's been huge for me this year and why I've been so consistent. So good and bad.
That's Sarah Schmelzel, Charlie. She's one back of the lead going into the weekend. Now, this is not, as Glenn mentioned, there's a lot of players on the top of the leaderboard looking for their first win. She's kind of like Tommy Fleetwood on the PGA Tour, 10 top 10s here over the last 2 seasons. She finished 9th at the U.S. Women's Open last year, where she opened, 68, 67, and then, kind of fell off over the weekend. Stacey Lewis, picked her for the Ryder Cup. I'm sorry, the Solheim Cup. My apologies. And I asked her, is she going to lean on that experience from the Solheim Cup this weekend?
Yeah, Solheim Cup was huge. I've never played on a bigger stage than that. I've never played with that much adrenaline running through my body. And I think up until Solheim, even though I had had a good year, I wasn't totally confident in if I could hit great golf shots in big time moments when I felt really nervous. And being able to do that has really proved a lot to me. And I think I've just been able to take some of that comfort into every event I've played since then.
The word comfort, that's a classic word that every golfer should get involved. Be comfortable with your golf game on the first tee or on the 18th tee or in the club championship. Get the definition of comfort. And boy, what a great word.
Yeah, no, she's going to have a great chance going into this weekend. Speaking of comfort, Charlie, there's business owners out there looking to get a little bit more comfortable with their HR performance, and you have a solution for them.
Well, it's an incredible company. Insperity started in 1986 with, I would say, a couple geniuses. The chairman of the company and the owner of the company, Paul Sarvati, had a vision, and they carried it out. And since 1984, 86, they've grown the company incredible. It's just absolutely one success after another, and it's because of their philosophy. And they want small businesses to succeed, so communities can prosper. That's not a selfish goal, is it?
It is not at all.
So if you have a small business and you want to succeed and you want to grow your business, you have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, give Insperity a call, get in line, get them ready to help you improve your company. I mean, they're really a HR company by design, but they have some other things that they can help people with. So it's really an incredible company. Insperity, look them up on the internet.
Yeah, Insperity.com.
Get their website, and I guarantee your business will grow even faster.
Yeah,
and the owner can do what he wants to do, and that's grow his business.
And Charlie, they can get a great feel of the company next weekend at the Woodlands Tournament Course, just down the street from us right now for the Insperity Invitational.
Exactly right. For 22 years, they've had this championship called the Insperity Invitational, where they invite the Champions Tour to come in and entertain their customers all week long. It's a golf championship, but more importantly for their championship is their customers are coming and getting entertained, getting to know everybody by a personal. You walk up and say, "Hi, my name is so and so. My name's Arnold Palmer."
Yeah.
Arnold, yes. Can I help you? Arnold was their spokesman for so many years. And so that's a success.
And for fans that come out there next week, once again, another tournament, the Insperity Invitational, all week long, fans get in for free.
Yes.
You've got your junior day on Tuesday. You've got a couple pro-ams. And as you just said, when Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player, Lee Trevino, Marco Mira, Curtis Strange, Julie Inkster, Annika Sorenstam, Laura Davies, all these legends, they like to mingle with the fans, don't they?
That's what it's all about. I mean, they're a public, on display. They love to show their talents with the game of golf, but more importantly, their talents with their personality. And they'll greet you. You'll become one of the family.
Yeah, get out. You have to get out next week to the Insperity Invitational, where the Champions Tour takes on the Woodlands Tournament Course. It's going to be a great weekend out there, and it's all thanks to our friends at Insperity.
And you get to meet Lee Trevino. This guy can talk underwater.
I don't think there's any better range session to watch than Lee Trevino.
That's
With
right.
A little shuffle forward.
And he'll
What do you think about those feet moving over the ball, Charlie?
They're magic, like Fred Astaire.
We got to take a quick break. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour here by Insperity. Back after this.
Oh, Lord, we're going to help that guy.
Yeah. He's good. We got one more to go.
I think back of all the crap that I've done.
It's a lot.
All the under that grade.
It's incredible. I mean, it's all led to this.
Hey, look at this.
What are you doing on Sunday?
I'll be out here tomorrow. As long as English speaking people that can speak English stay at the top of the leaderboard, I'll be here. Not to be racist, but you can't interview. They,
This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
Now from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
We're live from the Chevron Championship. Come out and join us here at the Nicholas Course at the Clubs at Carlton Woods for the first LPGA Major of the year. Things are heating up heading into the weekend. Jan Lew's in the lead at 7 under par. Sarah Schmelzel and Lindy Duncan, two Americans, one shot back. You've got Lexi Thompson in a tie for 10th. Nelly Korda 8 shots back. Charlie, that's not out of it heading into the weekend at a major, is it?
Not one bit. I mean, Nelly can put another 66 on the board. She can put 64 and change the horizon of Sunday. So, a lot of good golf to watch, a lot of good golf to be played at the beautiful Nicholas Golf Course here in the Woodlands, designed by Jack Nicklaus. It's no other, 100 and how many majors? 1,000?
18 major championships. Leader by 4, Charlie.
Leader by 4. And how many second places?
It's over 40. Did he total on the PGA?
20.
Total on the PGA Tour, he had over 40 runner-up finishes, right?
No.
That he left out there?
No. For in majors, there were 18.
Okay. So
17.
Jack had 18 majors. How many runner-up finishes?
17.
Wow. That's a true test of
it's a true champion.
Yeah.
His career here from day one to today, who's 84 years old and done so much for charity. You talk about charity. I mean, he and his wife Barbara have millions of dollars for kids in the hospitals in Columbus, Ohio, all over. They have been so generous with their time and with their influence.
And Charlie, it's amazing how he still puts himself out there to the public. He was at the Valero Texas Open a couple weeks ago. We'll see him next week at the Invitational, where he'll do. It's amazing what he does at his age. He gives the fans an hour-long range session, does some putting drills on the greens, goes and plays the course with the legends. He doesn't have to be doing that at his age.
No, he is a incredible philanthropist. He knows his signature and his name goes a long ways in drawing people to come out and give money for good reasons. So it's just incredible.
Charlie, we've got a your friend Adam Schupak.
Schupak, that's a
and
good
I'd love to
name.
know maybe what Jack Nicklaus would think about this, but the tour is going to have the PGA Tour is going to have a vote on the format of the Tour Championship this week. According to Adam Scott and Sam Burns, starting strokes are out. They're going to vote to end the starting strokes of the Tour Championship. You know how Scotty has started with a 2-shot lead, and while match play was on the table for the Tour Championship, that is not going to be an option either. From your viewing of the Tour Championship of the last 4 years with the starting strokes, and you have two winners. You have a winner with the starting stroke and a winner without the starting stroke. Which way for the Tour Championship is the right way to get the fans more involved at the end of the year?
Well, there was a saying is, you don't want to have to reinvent the wheel every week. The proven commodities, and right now the most important tournaments on the PGA Tour are the majors, and they all have the same format. It's a 4-day sporting event in all over the world, with the British Open, with the Masters. You have an incredible facility that has turned into being incredibly dominant in the golfing, where people want to go and experience that. And in the PGA, they're all the same. So I hope, let's just get back to basics. Don't reinvent the wheel. Go with what's successful. 72 holes, a cut. I think that would be the best.
Yeah, Charlie, the no cuts. It's we saw the RBC Heritage last week. It was really great to see Justin Thomas get his first win in 3 years. It's his 16th PGA Tour victory. I don't understand. There was no cut last week at the RBC Heritage, and that's the case for a lot of these signature events. There's 70-man fields. There's no cut. Why can't you have a 100-man field and have a 60-man cut?
Well, it gets down to just like this event here. They had to finish Friday's round on Saturday mornings. You get so many people in the event. Logistically, it's hard to run, especially when you get some rain involved. And they wanted to simplify it and try to make sure every day is done when the sun sets. So that's number one. Number two, I don't understand why they've limited the field so much. 132 is not that bad.
It's not at all. And most tournaments, especially after the daylight savings period of the year, are finishing.
And then the cut,
and no more Monday qualifiers.
Right,
Go ahead.
Right, and the cut is a part of this tradition like no other. You have to play good Friday afternoon to be able to get a paycheck. Although some of the courses will give you a paycheck for 36 holes. But just keep it basic and keep it simple. You got a formula that's correct. Match play is desirable, but it's horrible for television because you never know who's going to be finishing and going to play on the weekend. The thing that drives television are the ratings. So you got to make sure the stars are playing on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, there you go. And we have a big star playing this weekend here at the Nicholas course at Carlton Woods and Nelly Corda. Charlie, this is not the only major on the LPGA schedule that's coming to Texas this year. They're going to go to Frisco for the Women's PGA later this summer.
At the new property that's owned by the PGA of America.
Your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the PGA of America is always trying to improve its lot in the world, and they came on some good property, and they built a new complex, and so it's in the center of our country, and I think it's going to be a good event. They're just trying to grow the game.
Yeah, and they're going to come back for a men's PGA in 2027.
And the Ryder Cup will be,
I just heard that yesterday, that it's in the PGA Frisco contract.
Yeah.
A Ryder Cup must be hosted there.
Yes, that's exactly.
That's
right.
going to be incredible. Ryder Cup coming to Texas.
Yeah, well, it was played at
Champions,
1960 or whatever.
Yeah. Out of all the courses we have in Texas, besides the Chevron Championship, the Houston Open, and the Insperity Invitational, Charlie, it just doesn't seem like the tours really hit the best courses here. And I know it's tough to do.
Well, it used to champions used to host it's held at U.S. Open one time, and it's
Talk
held
about
the
the
Ryder
Tour
Cup
Championship. How
and the
good was
Tour
the Tour
Championship.
Championship?
It was
when
great,
it
but then they decided Coca-Cola stepped up and put a lot of money in it, and they bought the event to come to Atlanta. And they sold the rights to that. And they used to go to Southern Hills. They used to go to San Francisco. They used to come to Houston at Champions. But now we don't get because of the weather. I don't know.
Can you talk to the listeners about, and obviously Glenn Weckerman can he alluded on it a little bit, but you've run tournaments your whole life.
Yes.
This is, especially a PGA Tour event, it is not an easy thing for a club to hold.
Oh no, it puts their club. They give up 2 or 3 months of play for their members to host this event, and that's part of being a member of a club like Augusta. You build your reputation, so it pays off in the long run. And we got 1 minute to go.
Yeah, we got 1 minute. I want to give a quick shout
You got
to
it.
your Charlie Wawa. I mentioned Southern Hills.
Yes.
His TCU Horned Frogs, they had a great week out there
They
this week.
did. That was their conference championship, and they finished 5th, and that was a good finish. My grandson had a great tournament, learned a lot, had a few too many double bogeys, but we'll live for the next day.
That happens at Southern Hills, a major championship golf course.
Beautiful golf course.
Charlie, great work this morning.
Thank you.
People, get out to the Chevron Championship today and tomorrow for the third and final round. Tickets are on SeatGeek. Kids 17 and under get in for free. This is just a great championship. You have a great leader in Jan Liu, a couple great Americans chasing, and Sarah Schmelzel and Lindy Duncan. And then you've got great stories with Lexi Thompson and Ellie Corda, who, Thompson's in the tied for 10th. Corda made the cut by 2 shots, 8 back. They're still in this tournament. What you could see this weekend from them could be history if they could mount some weekend, 68, 66s to put themselves back in this tournament. We'll see you out here at the Woodlands at the Nicholas course. The clubs at Carlton Woods this weekend. That's John Belmer behind the 1s and 2s back in Studio 1A. We appreciate your work. Charlie, great work. This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour for By Insperity.
Bye,
see you
John.
next Saturday.
Bye, John. Thank you.
You too.